Three, two, one. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Drewski with Cryptidwarfare and Conspiracies Podcast and CW Operations and Survival. Hope you guys are having a blessed week, and hopefully all you guys are safe out there. Praying for everybody in Texas and California and all these other places that are getting hit with riots or hit with floods or anything out there like that. So yeah, there's a lot of things going out all over the world right now. So to keep your heads on the swivel and be safe and yeah, it's always trust in the Lord. So, if you guys got any, if you guys have any experiences or anything like that when it comes to cryptids, paranormal, spiritual warfare, anything like that, you guys got any questions or you guys just want to chit chat, go ahead and shoot me an email. It's cryptidwarfare@gmail.com. That's cryptidwarfare@gmail.com. If you guys are having any critter problems or you guys need any consultants when it comes to dealing with cryptids or anything like that, go ahead and shoot me another email. It's at C.WOPPS17905@gmail.com. Or the easiest way you can get a hold of me too is on Facebook or Instagram. So just type in Cryptid Warfare and we will get back to you guys ASAP. That's all I got for that. So other than that, guys, we have a good show for y'all. This couple has an awesome story. I've seen like a bunch of the videos. Miss Carey sent me, and yeah, guys, this is going to be a good testimonial when it comes to cryptids. So, yeah, so may I introduce to you guys, Miss Carey A and Mr. David. So, guys, I appreciate you guys coming on. I know we've been scheduling this for a minute. I know basically a lot of like conflicts on my end too, and yeah, I'm just really glad and blessed you guys are coming on here, being open and honest, and we're just going to fellowship and have a good time. So, other than that,
yep.
Yeah,
thank you.
Guys are here. So, okay, let's get started. Why don't you guys tell me and the audience, just give us a run through on who you guys are.
Of course. My name is Carey, and this is my husband, David.
Good evening.
And well, we didn't want to come forward for a long time because when I first did come forward, I put a post on my local Facebook group, and I got bullied so bad. I mean, attacked, called names. I mean, and I really don't care if I get bullied. I had 4 younger sisters, and I never let them be bullied. It didn't bother me. So when I put my post out, I got attacked so much, I took my post down. So I didn't come forward for about 2 years. And then when I started seeing, I don't know, things that I felt were putting people in danger and harm, I just felt like I needed to come forward and share. And if I could help one person be safe or not go missing, and I'm not saying that that's what is making people go missing, but there's some of them I'm probably pretty sure are. And if one person just believed our story and we could help someone else be safe, then that was the whole purpose in coming forward. Not for any money, not anything to gain. My own family even laughed at us. So I mean, that's why we came forward. I was never a believer in Bigfoot. My husband asked me, he once in a while would see something about Bigfoot and bring it up, and I would shut him down immediately. I'm like, I don't hear that. I don't believe in that. I believe in the Lord. There's heaven, hell, God, demons, nothing else. Nothing else. I don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. And I think back now, one of the reasons I didn't want to hear it is because it's scary. It's scary to think that there's something else out there walking around on the trails that you go hiking on, or biking, or the lake you go fishing on, or could be under the water, swimming under your boat. It's scary. I mean, who wants to be scared at any age? And it just didn't fit in our perfect, neat little box in this world that we try to make because everything is so crazy. And I didn't want to hear it. And about almost 9 years ago now was the first day that has changed our lives so dramatically, both of our lives. and some of my children's lives. All my children are grown. In Tennessee, where we were living, East Tennessee, same, coincidentally, the same area that Harley's from. I about 3:30 in the morning. Let me back up. I do have a little bit of psychic abilities. Always have been a sensitive, and I'll usually get things in visions. And a lot of times the Holy Spirit will tell me things. I have the gift of discernment, always have. And things have always been attracted to me, and I've always just ignored it. I'm not a practicing psychic because the Bible that I read says you are not supposed to do that. However, when these creatures are on, it automatically turns itself on, I guess, to protect me and to protect my family. So I have learned to listen to it. And when I've listened to it, I've never, the Holy Spirit's never steered me wrong, ever. So about 9 years ago, yes, sir.
Give me 1 second. I got to pause it real quick. Give me 1 second.
Okay, so back when and where we were at in Tennessee, almost 9 years ago, we about 3:30 in the morning, dead asleep, both of us. Well, let me. There was some sign of something wrong to begin with, but I brushed it off. When we were moving boxes in the house, the wood. Okay, the layout of the house is it's one road in, one road out. It backs up to a wildlife reserve at the end of our street. And it's very remote there. It's one of these little very beautiful hidden spots in Tennessee. And you park. Our driveway was a long gravel driveway. You park on the side of the house. The woods were probably 50 feet, all behind the house. Flat, about 5 acres behind the house, and then it starts the foothills of the Smokies. And the front is a front of the house, big front yard, completely flat. There's no trees in the front, no trees in the back for 5 acres, and then it starts the hill. Okay, in the front of the house, the flat, like about 1 acre of a yard, flat, no trees, the one road, and then you get a railroad track that takes you, if you walk it, to the wildlife reserve that dead ends at the end of our road, about a mile long. And across from the railroad tracks, a little patch of woods, and then it goes into little thicker woods, and the Nolichucky River that dumps into the French Broad. They interconnect about a mile down. So that's kind of the layout of the property. Well, we're moving boxes in, and let me back up a little bit. I was a hunter, grew up in Virginia, in West Virginia, playing in the woods. We were very poor, so the woods was my playground. And I hunted with my ex-husband that's passed away now, probably, I don't know, 17, 18 years. And I enjoyed hunting. I just enjoyed the peace and quiet. I never believed in killing something that you didn't eat. And I was good at it. And so I liked it. It was fun. So I was very familiar with the sounds, woods of noises, things like that. As we're moving boxes in, we heard one whistle that almost sounded like a really large, weird bird that you'd hear in the Amazon. And immediately there was an answer on the other side of the woods, because you got the back flat yard, backs up to the Smokies, and then this side's a patch of woods, and then this side's of the fields, a patch of woods in the back. And then the straight back at the end of the 5 acres, I call it the gauntlet. It's a little, like, I guess it's a holler. It's maybe 100 feet wide, and it used to be an old logging road, and it's just flat and just kind of snakes goes way up into forever. And I would call it the gauntlet. So we'd hear whistling coming on this side, coming from this side, answer back, whistling. And I looked, we both stopped because it was so loud. It sounded like a really loud parrot or something you'd hear in the Amazon jungle. And we stopped, and I looked, and I kind of laughed, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know we were moving to the Amazon, even though it does look really jungly. I mean, really thick and jungly. And every time we'd grab a box, it happened again, and it happened again. And we'd stop and we'd look. And I'm like, okay, never heard. And he's like, what is that? Because he knows I'm I'm like, don't know. I've never heard anything like that. I guess Tennessee has some birds that other places don't have. And I mean, I kind of was making a joke, but at the same time, I didn't know. So that was the first. There was some sign, but I just kind of ignored it because I didn't believe in this stuff. Thought I was open minded. Come to find out, I was not open minded at all. Sometimes I think if you tell yourself something enough, you can convince yourself that it's true with without the physical evidence to back it up, if that makes sense. So about this was maybe I want to say September, October, we moved in. January, no, I'll never forget it. I don't remember the date, but I know it's mid-January because it was cold and there was no leaves on the trees. I wake up 3:30 in the morning out of a dead sleep and I jump up like the feeling of dread so bad. Like I literally, it was almost like if your house was on fire. That kind of feeling like, oh my gosh, where do I go? Like now, sense of urgency. And normally I would have woken him up, but I didn't even wake him up. It was like I had to act that second. And like I said, I've been chased by a bear in West Virginia. Luckily, I was able to dive in between two rocks, seen mountain lion, and I've learned to kind of stand my ground when it comes to fight or flight. So I don't really get scared that easily. So I grabbed a spotlight. He loves lights, so I got this big like radar detector handheld spotlight thing, and it would shine up the whole back field. So I opened the back curtain, not the door. We had a modular home, so the door was aluminum, and it has like the six or nine little panes of windows. So I looked and I'm shining it across the back field and I can't see anything. So I crack open the back door. Now my body's standing behind the back door and I'm shining this light across the field. And every single day there's deer in our yard. Every day. And and I'm panning across thinking, what the heck am I doing? Like, what? It's 3:30 in the morning. What am I doing? So I'm panning the light across the field and I'm seeing nothing, nothing, nothing. And then I get over to the creek. And when I say a creek, it was maybe 2 feet wide. During summer, winter months, it was a few inches of water, and it nothing much. If it hard rained, then you get raging maybe foot of water, and it was kind of cut right through the middle of the yard. So anyway, I see this bear leaning down and bending down and drinking, and I'm like, holy smokes, there's a bear. And before I had a chance to do anything, it stands up and I'm like thinking, like, what? And I see hands, arms. The skin was like a black, smoky ash color. I'm sorry. I got to pause for a second. I got to pause for 1 second.
Okay.
Don't
go.
So anyway, it stands up. I can see skin. I believe it was a female, but I don't know for sure. I couldn't see any genitalia. It was turned sideways. The feet were in the creek, and I guess it was leaning over, drinking water from the creek. I saw a head, no neck. It did not have like a cone-shaped head, like people say. I want to say it was fur, but it wasn't like dog fur. It was like hair. And I could see it like hanging down underneath of the arms. And I could see some of the breast. It looked like it had breast. And the middle section did not appear like it had hair on it. I could see a stomach like a 5-month pregnant woman would look. And I saw long fingers. The hands, how I've described before, and I try to use visual things, were the size of like a tissue box. They were just huge. And my brain's like going like, I'm shaking my head and closing my eyes, like looking again. And it happened so quick. Like I had no time to do anything. It leaned its head back and I'll never forget this. It leaned its head back. I mean, I gotta take a deep breath every time I tell this part. So it leaned its head back and it screamed so long and so loud. It was so deep and so guttural and screechy all at the same time. It literally sounded like a woman being murdered on the worst horror flick you could ever imagine with her guts coming out of her mouth. It was like, and it was at least 20 seconds long with no breath in between there. And I realized, and when it hit me, And this is the crazy part. It hit me. I felt like an ocean wave started at the top of my head and just whoosh, whoosh, just rippled all the way down to my feet. And I crumpled over, standing up in a little ball like this. Well, I realized I couldn't, and I was unable to move. Now, I have thought about this, a bazillion times. I was not unable to move because out of fear. I was literally, it froze me. When it did that scream, whatever it hit me with, I could not physically move.
Yeah.
And after about 20 seconds, I realized that this giant, it looks like an old fashioned 80s radar detector, it's big old light. And you have to hold your finger on the trigger to get the light going. Well, I realized it was still screaming because I had my finger on the trigger. So I was able to move my fingers. But if you've ever seen a dog, like when they kind of shake it off, and do that kind of thing, I literally had to kind of like shake off the unfrozenness. And I let my finger off the trigger, and as soon as I did that, it stopped screaming. And it was no question. As soon as I saw it, I guess, I don't know if psychic abilities, discernment, I don't know, seeing the Patterson Gimlin film, I don't know, but I knew exactly what it was. I'm
Yeah.
like, holy crap! I just seen a Bigfoot. I can't go in there and wake him up and tell everybody I've seen a Bigfoot. I have to be sure. I don't want to do this again, but I have to do it again. I have to do it again. So I'm thinking, oh Lord, I don't want to do this again. So same thing. I hit it with the light again, and this time it had moved a little bit farther. It started moving up into the small foothill that would go way up high in the mountain. And
Yeah.
it's January, so there's no leaves on trees. I could see completely through the trees. And when I hit it with the light again, this time I was prepared for the scream. Same thing. Scream happened again, and it was so weird. Okay, I started to get frozen, almost like if you're out in the Arctic and you start to get frozen, frostbite, and you kind of like got to do something real quick. I started to get frozen, but I kind of started to do like shake it off, do like this number, so I wouldn't get frozen in place. I know how bizarre that sounds. And that's what I did. And I let my finger off the trigger, and same thing, same scream, but not as loud. And I didn't get that wave through me because I had shut the door this time and hit with the spotlight through, put the light up against the glass.
Yeah.
And I saw it clear as day. I had a complete unobstructed view to this creature for me. And it was about 70 feet from when we had measured. And when we went out there, we did the tree, like where its head was to the tree.
Mhm.
And it was what, 9 feet?
Yeah, I think it was 9.
9 feet tall. And right after that, happened, I didn't go, I went and laid down in bed. And of course I couldn't go back to sleep, but I didn't wake him up till the morning. And as soon as he woke up, I told him, and he was like, "They told you. I told you they were real." Like, oh my gosh, like wasn't even shocked. And that was only the beginning. And ever since that day, they have not left us, me and us alone.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was bad there. Shortly after that, the next thing that happened, we were here. Okay, I've heard people say the bionic owl. I know why they say that, because it's so loud, or the bionic voice. It's so loud, and the way they talk, it's very broken and only one sentence. It's very precise. They want to make sure that you hear what they're saying. I heard the owl sound before. He had just started. He's a tanker driver, so he just started truck driving school, and he had to do an overnight, or he had just finished. He had to do an overnight trip. So I was like, "Oh, please, please, I do not want to be here alone at night." And I already got sold on my guns, sold on my weapons, didn't have any weapons. I'm like, "Nope, there's no way. I'm not staying in a modular home where the walls are paper thin, where that creature could literally just push its fist right through the wall and pull me right up. Not doing it, not doing it." So I got a 50 caliber rifle, and I had it loaded, kept it under the bed. It was just us in the house, and I have a Rottweiler service dog. And that dog is stuck with me all the time, like side by side. So as he's on his trip overnight, all of a sudden I hear stomping around on the front porch, like a kid, like a 5-year-old doing the high step marching in circles. And I kept I'm trying, no, it's not happening. No, it's squirrel. Oh, it's squirrels. Okay, it's raccoon. It's that. And I'm like, nope, it's not happening. Nope, not happening. It's not happening. And the more I try to say it's not happening, the louder it's getting. And I'm like, so then my dog jumps up and he starts growling. I'm like, oh crap. Oh, this is happening. So I'm like, I take my dog, and he had a choke collar on, because at the time he was still pretty young, and he's so big and muscular. If he wanted to stand somewhere, I'm not moving him. So that's what I had on him to move him and put the collar leash on him. And we had to go by the front door to go to the bedroom to get the gun. So I said in my head only, okay, Carey, go get your gun. This is really happening. And I see the doorknob turning. And right after I saw that creature, both of our back door and front door would click. And I would make him check the doorknobs and me check the doorknobs like every single night. And they would make a click sound. And it was mimicking what I was doing. It was just turning the doorknob, click, 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 click. So that's when I said, okay, Carey, go get your gun. Well, my dog also, he was growling and he was backing up. And he was like, had his head side to side, like, okay, it's not mom. Okay, it's not dad. Okay, it's not that. It's not that. Well, first of all my family lived out of state. Nobody knew where we lived. Nobody should be coming to our house. I mean, we hadn't even been there that long. So there should have been nobody at our house at, it was just like 11 o'clock at night. And when I said to myself, in my head, go get your gun. Okay, Carey, this is really happening. Go get your gun. My heart just like took off, like, and I don't even know why. I started like hyperventilating. And like I said, I've been chased by bear, mountain lion, and that's something you literally should give you, stroke out. And I didn't. But for some reason, I felt its energy and I started like panicking. So I said, okay, calm down. Go get your gun. Second, I finished that last word. I had an answer in my head that said, and it said and I've heard people say, like I said, robotically, and I know why they say it, because it said it like this: do not bother. It won't do any good against us. And when it said the word us, I'm like, I'm not even focused on the fact that's talking to me in my head right then. I'm like, us? Like, oh, you mean there's more? Like, oh my gosh. So what do? Blow a hole through the front door, something I can't see? And how am I going to explain that when David gets home? That'd be a hard one to explain, right? What am I going to do? Open the door? Think not. And so I drag my dog, and it took everything I could to drag him away. I sit on the bed, and I just start praying. In the name of Jesus, be gone. In the name of Jesus, you're not welcome here. In the name of Jesus, be gone. And I was praying as loud and as forcefully as I could. And as soon as I said, in the name of Jesus, be gone, everything stopped. It was so quiet, it hurt your ears. It was like all the sound and air was just sucked out of the atmosphere. Your ears actually felt like they were ringing. It was so quiet. And I just couldn't believe I heard that noise. You want to tell them about the truck? This is the second thing that happened with my SUV I got.
Oh, yeah.
This is crazy.
One day she was backing up. We went to the store, did some errands that day. As she was backing up, she wasn't like.
I messed up.
Yeah.
I crashed into his car.
As she was backing up, she clipped my front bumper of my car. Really wasn't like terribly bad, but it did more damage to her truck. It put this big dent. You know how plastic sinks in?
It was like fiberglass, though.
Well, it sinks in, and there's no way to get it out without like heat and a tremendous amount of effort. Well, the next day, I had to go to work and stuff. Well, I came home, and I seen that it was fixed.
Wait. It'd been like a week. And I walked by, the first day you did it, remember? I did it. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to redo. Please, I want to redo. I want to redo.
That like out loud
every day.
She literally said it.
every day. I'm like, no, please, I love my truck. Because I said, you can fix this with heat. And he's like, no, this is big. It's got to go to the shop. It's going to be like $2,500 at least. It was like a basketball and a half deep and 2 basketballs wide. And I don't know, I could be wrong, but I think it's fiberglass because the bumper's so hard. Like if you stained on it, it doesn't eat with plastic, but you can't even move it at all. And every day I took the dogs out for that whole week. I was like, oh, I want to redo. Oh, I want to redo. Please, I love my truck. And then I didn't go anywhere all week. It was September, wasn't hot. There was a fall festival and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get out of the house. I'm gonna stop freaking out about the truck. I walked by and I'm like looking in, I see this little pile of white quartz rocks that there were quartz, right? I showed, were they quartz?
Yeah. And had a little flower on it.
Yeah. And they left me a little pile of quartz rock shaped like a pyramid, a little flower on top of it, sitting on the same side of the running board of the truck. And the dent was completely put. You would have never even known there was a dent there, except the paint was cracked. So I'd forgotten to tell him. And then Sunday morning, we were getting ready for church, and I said, "Oh, thanks for fixing my truck." And he's like, "I didn't know your truck was broken." I'm like, "Yeah, the dent. Remember?" I'm like, "You fixed it." I'm like, "I really wish you couldn't have done it. We don't have money like that. It's an older truck. It's not. Was." He's like, I didn't. It's broke." I'm like, "No, it's a word." I'm like, "Just come on." And as soon as we go out there, he's shaking his head, and he starts laughing. He's like, and he turns right to the woods. He's like, "Thanks, guys."
Thanks, guys. Well, okay, quick question, David. Quick question, man. Before you go, when all this was going on, like, especially like the dent, what were you thinking? Like, what were you thinking at the time?
I really didn't know what to think. I was thinking anything but, what actually happened, because my mind didn't want to go that route. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It wanted to go in every direction but the actual direction. That makes any sense.
I hear you.
I was thinking the sun. I was thinking, the heat from the sun may have popped it out. But then the rocks, the little pile of rocks, it was like, it's almost like they knew I was going to have, that there was going to be doubt in that whole scenario. So they left the rocks as an unmistakable, sign that this.
Oh yeah, and then we came inside. We were talking about it, and we were debating whether they were real or this was really happening. Tell him what you said. If this is really you guys, this is really happening.
Yes,
listen to this.
Yes. If this is,
we came in the house.
I know we're not supposed to go by sight, but I'm like, well, I wonder if they're really, really real. I would really like to see one.
And we're in the house sitting
down watching. I don't even know if we had TV on.
Yeah, we had church on.
Yeah, I guess we did at the. And first of all, I seen this little orb.
Oh,
was that after?
No, that was right before.
Before.
As soon as he said if they're really real or not. Yeah.
The power goes out, okay, and it just didn't. It went out like abruptly.
As soon as he said, if you're really real.
I said that. Are you really real? I wonder if they're really real. Bam.
Everything's like.
Everything went down, but it went down unusually. It was different. There was beeps that I've never heard, like in the normal power outages.
From everything.
It was just a whole different type of failure. It's hard to describe, but.
And the orb, the round orb, shoots up out of the floor. It's like a big old Christmas ball, about the size of a softball.
Yeah.
It shoots up right out of the floor in between us. It was like a white, and it starts going towards his head, and he literally like moves his head, and it just bends and curves. It goes in. There's no traffic going by. It's daytime. There was nothing that could be reflecting. The back windows of the house, the curtains were open. There was nothing back there but wood. So I mean, there's nothing. We tried to debunk it. How do you debunk something coming out of your floor and then curves and goes past your head right after you say that?
Exactly.
And then he said sorry.
So that was like my
Well, tell him about how the power came back on.
Yeah. Well, then I don't know. It was probably less than 5 minutes. It popped back on.
Yeah.
And it was like, it just kind of.
Well, you told him sorry. You said sorry, guys.
Yeah. Oh, was it that time? Okay. Well, anyhow, Yeah, so the power came back on, and it was just kind of like, it was like slowly the lights came on. It wasn't like pop. It was just an unusual scenario.
Kind of how it went off. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty wild.
How fast was that orb coming at your head, David?
Pretty fast. It was like a flash.
Yeah.
It was quite remarkable.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it was fast, but I'm sure like time slowed down too, all at the same
Yeah,
time.
exactly. Yeah, it's a very good way to describe it. It was slow, but it was fast. That makes sense. Yeah, it's like time just kind of, just like when the power came on. It was almost like we were in a time warp of some sort.
Yeah.
The way it all came about. Yeah, it was quite.
And then to tell them about the watermelon. Then right after this, we did an experiment.
I told her to leave the watermelon out. I said, we were going to throw it away because it went bad. We didn't get to it in time.
We're still trying to prove if it was really them.
So we stuck it out in the yard. She did. She went there because she felt like she does have more of a connection with them. For some reason, they kind of they're very attracted to her. Her energy, as she goes on with her story, you'll see that they call her to certain spots
every time.
In the reserve.
Yes.
They actually tell her where nests are. They tell her where this and that is. We've seen so many things.
And I've got pictures of all of it. Yep.
And Harley's been through there, and he can.
A portal. Yeah, showed you a portal. I sent Harley too. Yep.
But anyhow, we left the watermelon, not thinking that anything was really going to happen. Maybe a raccoon. That's what I said. How are we going to know? Well,
right at the edge of dark.
Yeah, the next morning, the next afternoon, we kind of forgot about it. And I'm like, whatever happened to the watermelon? So we took a walk out there. It was like half across our field, and 2 snake skins. The watermelon was completely gone. Not a speck. Not even a speck of it left.
Nothing.
No.
And it was a
giant scavenger would have gotten to it. I mean, anybody knows there would have been some kind of
seed, something,
some kind of remains.
I mean, the ground would have been wet.
But there was 2 snake skins sitting there. Not 1 snake skin, so it would be a coincidence, but 2 to make it
side by side.
It definitely was a gift for the watermelon that was left. So that was that. That kind of blew my mind, and all of this is just increasing my, my belief system, to say the least.
And then we start walking down we'd walk the railroad tracks in front of our house as a shortcut to the reserve to get exercise. We're walking the tracks and telling about when it's crashing through the wood. They're like a bulldozer.
I'm walking ahead because she likes to stop and take pictures all the time, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna keep on walking. I had our smaller dog Lena, and she had Casimir, our Rottweiler, and all of a sudden I hear this crash, and I still don't like. My mind does
like a bulldozer
go automatically to something cryptid or something bad. I'm like, well, a tree might have fallen down, but
there was no wind.
Big crash. It was like, and Gary's like, hey, stop.
Come back.
No, I heard the crash, but I didn't in my head want to really go that route with it. I'm still
like a bulldozer hit a tree.
I'm still in denial, kind of. It's just like, could that have been, or is this, what I think it is?
Yeah.
But the way it crashed, it was, it had to been something.
But it happened again.
And then it happened again shortly after.
The same day, same trip.
So yeah, it was.
And we get down there, and then
quite remarkable.
Tell them about the big old the big round dome thing, and the net, and then the square nest thing.
Yeah, was that the same?
Yeah, well, sometime that week.
Same day, but anyhow, this was another time we're walking down the railroad tracks, and Carey's like, I wonder what's down here. And the railroad tracks are up high. There was a little ditch. So she's walking down the ditch.
Yeah, and he's like, wait.
I'm standing there wondering what she's doing, afraid.
I'm wondering what I'm doing. I do, I'm wondering what I'm doing.
All through her life, she's been drawn to certain things. Certain things draw her. So, she's in the woods peeking around, and all of a sudden she finds this nest on the ground, just a flat nest, but it has sides like weaving in, all
That's so
weaved
crazy.
with it looked like hemlock. There's not even any kind of trees of that nature that
Nothing.
were
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. Nothing.
And I'm sitting there just like analyzing it. I don't know if we have a picture of that.
I do.
We
do.
got the picture of
I do.
the igloo.
I got a picture of the nest.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to send them to you.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
there was probably 5 foot, 6 foot by 6 foot maybe, laying on the ground, like I said, with some kind of soft hemlock looking branches, nice and weaved. And I was like, what the world?
The sides were like, what, 2 feet high?
Yeah.
And then he was like, well, maybe it's a hunter's blind. I'm like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'm like, why? It's in the middle of the woods. There's nobody out here. He's like, maybe it's a duck blind. I'm like, there's no water around.
My mind still has a hard time going automatically to a cryptid.
The dome nest.
It's obviously in front of me, right? But
100%. Yeah, and that's and
how the
that's
mind
thing
works.
about that's funny how the mind works. We always try to make sense of everything.
I know, right?
Talking about the dome nest, the big old dome.
And then shortly after, we're riding our bikes. I think we were on our bikes that day.
Yeah.
We were riding our mountain bikes.
You kept stopping in that spot where that portal ended up being. I kept saying, don't stand there. Don't stand there.
Oh, yeah. So we went past, those that are in Tennessee, East Tennessee, and are familiar with the reserve. There's a coal chute. And the coal chute's pretty far in the reserve. So, we were probably maybe 3/4 of the way almost to the water at the reserve, past the coal chute.
Which is out of commission. It's like 1850 or something.
Yeah, there's this big hut. It looked like an igloo. And it was about 4 or 5 feet high with a door and weaved branches. We got pictures of that as well. Weaved branches. And I'm like, what in the world? And Carey's like poking around, looking inside. I'm like, this can't be a cryptid nest. It has to be
a beaver dam. And I'm like, there's no water around.
I'm still having a hard time believing it.
And I poke my head in there, and then I see something scurrying. I'm like, oh, nope, time to go. We're out. I'm out. Yeah.
Yeah. So it
and there was, and then
it was quite
the bone pile. Tell them about the bone pile.
Hold on, real quick. Back up. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. I know, right?
Time out. Hold on. Keep bouncing around. So going back to that dome, like hut thing you guys found. Okay. Did you smell anything? Did you guys see any hair? Did you get any samples? Anything like that?
We took a picture of it. I was in a rush. I'm always in a rush.
Because he didn't want to believe it. He didn't want to believe it. That's why. Come on. Let's come on.
I was just trying to. I was trying to look for footprints on the beach. Right. That was what I was trying to head for that day. And I just didn't know how to either. This thing was a Bigfoot nest or dog man.
However, I did take one footprint of that day near that dome nest. Yeah. But I don't know if it's really, and it looks like a canine print. And the only we don't smoke, by the way. There was a cigarette butt that was already on the ground next to this thing, and this thing is like the footprint is like the size of a salad plate, and it is not a cat footprint. It is a dog footprint, and there's a little cigarette butt there for reference, and you can see this thing. It's literally like the size of a salad plate's probably 6 inches across. Yeah, about 6 inches by maybe bigger. And I'm like, and the only reason I took a picture, I'm like, I have a Rottweiler and he's over 100 pounds, so it dwarfed his footprint. That's why I stopped and took a print of it. I'm like, picture of it. I'm like, that's way too big to be normal.
Yeah, that's one thing that I always try to do is whenever I go out hiking, whatever, I always have like a little casting kit.
We don't know how to do that.
Yeah. If we seen them more often, we probably would.
I do.
I'll tell you what, though, in Kentucky, we probably should have, because
That place was out of control.
Kentucky, when we get to the store,
Oh my gosh.
there was a lot of prints.
We were there 10 months. We bought and sold that house and we're out of there in 10 months.
Okay, good. So tell them when we were leaving Tennessee. Get to the
Oh yeah, okay.
as
Well,
we're leaving Tennessee.
Yep. As we were leaving on these railroad tracks, we back up a little bit, there was a spot where I called it the boneyard. There was a pile, and in between on the railroad tracks, there was two sides of the wall that went up like 11 feet high. Maybe you couldn't see anything in that little section right there. And there was every animal you could name. There was cat skeletons. There was a pelican, turtles, galore, raccoons, dogs. Because they had the cow. There were so many animal parts. I couldn't even count. It was literally like the boneyard. And that's what I called it. And I got a lot of pictures of that. I did see, wait a minute, about a week, we were leaving Tennessee because the activity just got to be so nerve-wracking. I like to walk. Well, I like to walk that road. If I did, I wouldn't walk the railroad tracks alone, but I'd walk every day that road to the reserve with my dog. And one day I was walking on the edge of the road, as the little, like, I don't know, ledge, the side of the,
like a
ledge. It goes up like, I don't know, 6 feet high off the side of the road, and it's the edge of the woods. It's fall, and I hear something crunching beside me because the footfall wasn't exactly matching mine. So I knew that if I was close enough, that they could hear my thoughts. So I knew that I had to react and do it quick before they had a chance to catch on. So I acted like I was going to take a step down, and I stopped. And then I heard crunch. So I spun around and I pointed right at the woods, which is fall, so it's pretty thinned out with leaves. And I pointed right at the woodline. I'm like, gotcha. And I heard like it almost sounded like if a deaf person or a handicapped person would be laughing, like it wasn't quite human sounding, but it didn't sound quite. And that was it. And I was like, okay, time to go home, buddy. We're done to walk. And he's still trying to go this. So I'm like, nope, we're done. We're going back. It's time. We're cutting it short today. They would spin. We had these palm leaf fans on the back porch. They'd spin them around and around. One morning they broke the palm leaf, the big old thick plastic palm leaf, not where it screws into the fan, but in half. And it was literally sitting on the chair on the back deck.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were playing with it.
Yeah, I think they're playing with it, and they just broke it. So it just got to be so much. My dogs, every time I put them out back, they throw rocks at the dogs. They didn't like the dogs because the dogs. And so I'm like, I can't. We got to go.
One time you were sitting out there on the porch with Cass, and you were like focused on this one area of the woods, and remember the tree? The tree fell down.
No, it didn't fall down. Yeah.
Well,
it got Well, I was on the back deck with my dog, my Rottweiler, sitting out. I'm like, okay, I'll sit out here with you. It's hot. I'm getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. I won't have any blood left. But what the heck? I'm out here with you, buddy. So I sit out there with him, and all of a sudden I see this tree. Now it's dead as summer, and it's so hot, and they're full of leaves in this tree. And I see the tree is like the tree right on the edge of the back field. So it's at the beginning of where the field would start or end and the woods would start. Yeah. So the tree is like shaking, and I'm like, what the heck's making the tree shake? And for some reason I felt drawn over there. I don't know why. I didn't hear anything in my head, but so I get my dog. If I don't know, my normal right mind, I wouldn't have done this because I know better, but I don't know. I did it. I don't even know why. I shouldn't have done it. I get my dog and I start walking over there. I get probably 20 feet from it, and I see all of a sudden the tree starts so hard. This tree is like, oh, you've seen it. How tall did you say it was? 20, 50 feet. 50. It was tall, huge tree, 50 feet. It was like huge. Poplar. It was not a pine tree. And or poplar or maple. I don't know. It wasn't a pine tree. It wasn't like a bendy tree. And there was no wind. So all of a sudden, I'm in the middle of the field heading towards this tree to see what's shaking it. And my dog stops. I'm walking. All of a sudden, I feel the leash tighten up and I can't go. And I'm like, okay. And this tree just starts shaking so violently. And I see this black, looks like knuckles wrapped around the whole the whole middle of the tree. I don't know. The hand looked so big, like it was literally gripping the tree in its hand. And the whole tree comes down right towards me and my dog and just boom lands right in the middle of the field. And I'm like, like I'm like so like I'm like frozen, like I can't run. Like I'm trying to run, but I know not to run. I'm trying to move, but like my feet aren't getting the message, like, come on, let's move, feet. They're not moving. So I just said, I can't do this anymore. It's so, and it was just activity. It was just stuff like this
How far away
every day.
How far away were you from that tree? Said it was out in the field, but how far away were
It was
you
at the
from
beginning of the, okay, if you take the whole field, and then where the field ends and the tree starts, from like seeing it before it came down.
How far was it from you when it fell? I think he's
saying. How far was it? Yeah. How far was it like from you, like when it fell after the whole fact?
Oh, it didn't fall. It could have hit me. If it fell, it would have hit me. I was that close. It didn't.
Gotcha.
It went off to the side. So instead of falling right at me forward, it went not all the way to the left, but maybe 70 degrees to the left. But it could, if it could have hit me if it wanted to hit me at the tree. But it hurt in the whole, and it was like snap, and it's like it was mind blowing. It was my dog is still frozen. He wasn't barking, growling, nothing. He was frozen. He was totally frozen in place. And I said, we got to go. I just can't do this anymore. I'm scared to walk. I felt like one of these beings, I could hear, we had gravel against the side of our house, and every night
she would always say she hears the rock.
Yeah, from the river in front to the mountains in the back. Every night about 3 o'clock, they go back and forth to get water or food, and I'd hear crunch, 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 all. And I'm like, and then one time I heard two talking. And remember, we have a modular home, and if he was in the house taking a nap, snoring, I would be able to hear him snoring. That you could hear outside. So I heard two of these things behind my head one night talking, and it sounded like two little, not, I don't even want to say Japanese or Chinese people, two little Ewoks talking, because I heard I don't get and I'm like, and I heard something talking back, and I'm like laying there like I'm really losing my mind. Like I'm losing this right now. Like, and I heard him talking, and I heard crunch, crunch, crunch. Like what? And I'm like, I'm done. I can't, because and I felt like one was focusing in on me so much. I started becoming so paranoid. I didn't walk anymore. We didn't want to go kayaking anymore. I wouldn't go bike riding anymore. I was getting to the point where I wouldn't even leave the house anymore. And and that's why we moved there. So I got this window tinting film that you do on your cars to black out the windows, because I felt our front windows of our house, I would like to open the curtains all day and look out at the nature. And across the road was where the river and the thick woods were, and you could see inside the whole house. And I just could feel one intently staring at me like all day long. So I tinted the front windows almost pitch black, where I could see out and we'd still get sunlight, but they couldn't see in. And I think it worked because I didn't feel that anymore. But it just got to be so much, we had to go. And the day we were leaving, he was driving the moving truck, I was driving my truck, and we stopped in front of the house as we were leaving to move away. And we stopped to get both of our Jeep. He got out, I got out, to make sure we both had the same address.
Synchronize our phones.
The GPSs, and tell them what happened with their phones.
Phones just went haywire. They just started skipping from app to app, like
flipping the screen real fast.
And it wasn't just, it was both of our phones.
And we had we don't have the same plan either, by the way.
It's two different phones, just two separate phones. And they just started going haywire, going from app to app, jumping all around. And I just said, guys, I'm sorry, we have to leave. It's been, real, but, time to go.
He said it hadn't been real fun, but you said it hadn't been real fun.
Real, but it hasn't been real fun. I just said, well, we have to leave, we got to get out of here. and all of a sudden, bang, our phones were back online.
The same.
No joke. God is my witness.
Yep. Exact same time.
And I guess we should tell them before we leave Tennessee that there's so much we got to say. We took a walk one evening. On our way back home, we seen a whole row of this little ATVs, but the 4-wheel version, like Polaris, the big ones. Not full size Jeeps, but the medium sized ones. Polaris is
completely blacked out.
out. Just before that, let me back up a minute. Just bore we've seen them coming around the bend, there was a sharp bend that goes to the park or the reserve. There was a sharp bend on your way there. But anyways, I heard this bang, 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 bang.
Yep.
And I could still hear it in my head to this day. I don't know if it was automatic weapon fire.
Sure sounded like it.
Or if it was them banging. But a second later, we see a row. Well, I guess it was a couple minutes later. We seen a whole row of there was blacked out Polarises coming around, and we had to step aside. They were just like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
They would have run us right down. They would have mowed us right over.
Yeah.
They were almost bumper to bumper.
They were very
uniform the way we're driving.
Uniform, correct. Yes, they were very uniform.
How many were there you said again?
Probably at least 10. But the thing is, the thing is, we didn't see them come in.
Yeah, we don't know how they got in. There's only one-way road in.
It was a small little community. So you usually see, and we were about a half an acre away from the road. So I was always looking to see who was coming in and out. The cops, down at the neighbor's house again or whatever. I was always looking, so I would have seen them come in. It's not very unusual to see them coming out. So it was kind of just, it made you think.
But they were completely blacked out. No tags. There was no tags. No nothing.
No tags. No decals.
They were moving it. They were doing at least 40, 45. Like I said, I had to rip my dog back. They run me right over. They did not care that we were on the edge of the road. They would have mowed us right down. They kept on going.
They didn't even slow down.
They didn't even slow down at all. Somebody was in the way. Oh well, they kept on going. Yep. And then in between that time, after that sounded like automatic gunfire, what I think it sounded like too, it's like all hell broke loose. It was like there was a loud scream came from the back, dogs are barking, and then it sounded like rocks like clacking, or I've heard people say they're slapping their hands. It would sound like loud rock clacking behind us, in the mountains behind us, on the riverside in front of us. It was like stuff going on. All dogs dogs were going crazy. It was like everything was like, somebody's car alarm was going off. It was like it was like going crazy everywhere, and everything before that we were nice, beautiful fall evening, sun was setting, everything's so calm and quiet, and everything just happened all at the same time. It was insane.
What about that time we're sitting in the living room watching a movie? And like I said, Carey knows when they're around. She feels them before she sees them.
In the window,
She'll know. Yeah. Even here in Indiana. I mean, it hasn't stopped.
No, it hasn't stopped.
It's moved 3 times, and it's
4 times, including Tennessee. In 3.5 years,
she knows when they're looking at her. She tells me to shut the shade. So we'll shut the shade. So we were sitting in the living room one day in Tennessee, enjoying a movie together, and she says, well, she didn't say anything. She just turned around.
No, I said, did you shut the cat room? We call it the cat room. We have 2 indoor cats, and that's like their toys and stuff. And I said, you shut the cat room shade. And he's like, why? I said, because we're being looked at right now. He's like, how do you know? I said, because I know. We both spun around, and it was blocking out. Okay, the bottom of the window was about 4.5 to 5 feet off the ground, and I saw it from the waist up. And if it was standing full on, it would have blocked out the whole normal size. I want to say it's like a 52-inch size window, because I've measured them here and they're about the same size. It would have blocked out the whole window, but it was standing sideways, and it would have blocked out the whole window. And as soon as I saw it, it moved. I've seen them I've seen them move. Where did I see them move at? When I saw them move the speedo light. Oh my gosh.
Brain fart.
I know, right? Might as well have been. I don't know. It'll come to me. I've seen them move, and I'll think of it. I don't remember where it, but I've seen them move. Yeah, I've seen them move, and they move like something on a cartoon. They move so fast. Oh, I know where. In Upper Indiana, when let me back up a little bit. When we had to move, we moved. And the only place we could find that was a 1 level at the time, now we're in 2 level, that defeated the purpose, was in Kentucky. With his job, he can pretty much live anywhere. Yeah. And that was a terrible idea. We were like 25 minutes from Mammoth Cave. Probably not the brightest idea. There was 2 caves on our property, not also the brightest idea, considering the circumstances. We moved to Kentucky, 1 level house, all woods around it, behind it, everywhere around it, real deep in the woods, the house, and it had like a 5-car garage, cinder block garage, detached building behind the house, below the house. And the night we moved in, it started almost immediately. Every one of these garage doors had a different garage door opener. And all night long, bang, 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 they'd run by and they just pound on those doors. And this is probably,
that would get annoying.
Well, this is about.
Seems like as soon as you're ready to go to sleep. I mean,
they do it every night
in that, and they like purposely
do it.
I think the other people were feeding them unintentionally because they would leave
chicken feed out,
deer feed too, because they had a deer feeder out.
And she mentioned that,
and you know, they don't like when it's not.
They don't like recommendation
to start feeding.
No,
that is not only that is a very, very big
bad
problem.
idea.
They get PO'd.
These things, and then the thing is that they don't think about the next people that are going to move in.
Yeah,
there was actually a case. Oh gosh, I forgot what it was, but there was a case where this woman, she was actually feeding all these Bigfoots on her property, right? Yep. Well, she ended up dying. And after that, her son took over the house.
Oh man,
he didn't know anything about it on what she was doing on the side, right? Of course, she didn't tell him. So basically, like the whole family group of Bigfoots got pissed off.
Yeah, what happened?
And they literally broke in the house. Like, what's going on? And totally scared the crap out of them.
Oh yeah,
and it was a really, really, really big, like, close call on that. So. Yeah, and
they do that. The lady bought the house from us, she had chickens, and she said, I took all the chickens, they all died, and they kept disappearing. And man, I couldn't afford that chicken feed because she had a trash can. Okay, I'm 5'6". The trash cans came up a little past my knees. They're big old round metal trash cans, and they had lids on them. And she's like, I was going through a whole 2 trash cans a week. I'm like, wow, you must have had a lot of chickens. And she's like, no, only 7. And I'm like,
yeah, we're going through that.
I know. I'm like thinking, how fat are these chickens? Man, that must be pretty tasty. No, I'm like, that's okay. And then after we moved in, the first night we heard boom, and I'm like, that's one of the trash. We had like the back deck went like 40 feet long as the house. It was a really nice house. Had a hot tub on it, and they bashed in the side of the trash can. It was dented in. It was all dented in. They were empty. The trash cans were empty because there was no feed in it. But they banged so. Okay, it became a game. Like every night was one garage door was open. Then he'd go down and shut it.
Night. They wouldn't just do it once. They do it. I get up early. You know, I got this. It's built in me to wake up early. You know, 4 or 5 o'clock, and they'll be banging then. It's like certain times, like when you get in this mindset, like once you start to relax, it's like bam, bam, bam.
To scare the crap out of you.
It was always 3 times. That was their thing. And that one time you said you wanted to go look at the cave. This is still in Kentucky, mind you.
Yeah, and I'm like, let's go walk through the woods and look through the cave. It was winter, so I wasn't that afraid of snakes or poison ivy, which was a ridiculously amount. And I said, now we're not going in. I just want to shine the light and just peek. I said, but I'm telling you right, would not have gone in there. And the next day we're on our way to church and he's like, stop.
Church is right there.
Like it's a little windy country road, really windy, and it drops off really, really far. Oh, and by the way, let me back up. Not only were there caves on the property, our neighbor, older man, a little ways down, he said, don't go walking around through these woods. And we were like, why not? Because I said, have you heard or seen anything? And he shut me down right there. He didn't even let me finish my sentence. And he's like, don't go walking around over here because right across the street, when it drops, like it must have been a 40-foot drop and kind of flattened out.
Mine shafts.
All mine shafts all over the place. And he said they were just grown over with weeds and you wouldn't even know where the mine shaft was. They were all open. And he said you just end up falling in one. Now, was he just BSing? I don't know, but I wasn't going to take that chance. And right across the street was a wildlife management reserve, Peabody Wildlife Reserve. Huge. We went over there and to check it out in the car, and it was like something out of a movie. We're driving this little tiny road. There's not a soul in sight. I swear it looks like something a Bigfoot movie should be made out of. It is so desolate. There's so many tree bends and breaks and just weird stuff. And we got the windows up because it's summertime, and all of a sudden the truck starts getting just pelted with bazillions of bees. Like, there were so many. He was afraid they were going to start coming to the vents of the truck. We speed up on this gravel road, and I'm like stomping. We're doing like 40-something miles an hour, and these bees are still coming and attacking the truck.
I thought they were like killer bees or something.
There were so many of them. I had to turn my windshield wipers on. They were hitting the side mirrors. They were on the front. I'm like, this doesn't like this. There's not. I'm like, this is something's wrong with this picture. I'm like, this is not. Yeah, I'm like, yep, it's definitely. It was like we were not wanted in there. We were not wanted in there at all. So we got the heck out of there. But that place was. They banged all night long. One Saturday afternoon, we're taking a nap. We got the living room windows open, and there was a big giant holler in the back that goes just down and winds all around through there. And all of a sudden, we hear this long, loud, just exactly how everybody says, scream. It's like, I can't even do it. It's like a rebel yell scream. It goes way high up and then way high down, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. And I opened my eyes.
She looked at me.
We're like looking at each other, like side-eyeing it. Like,
did I really hear that?
Did you like it?
She's the one that usually hears everything.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. I think that they know her frequency because she hears things that I can't hear or don't hear.
Yeah.
And I know she's hearing them because
I knew that we needed to get. I knew that we needed to get out of there, and I felt.
But you didn't tell her. But you didn't tell everybody about the tree, the twisted tree.
Oh, sorry about on the way to church.
We have pictures of this.
Yeah, in the right dead center. Okay, there's no wind. It's dead summer. There was no big winds or storms that day.
Right where we see it. We would see it on our way to church. You couldn't miss it.
Right in front of that cave door opening, there is a tree that's probably 4 feet around, and it's like, 40-foot tree up. The whole top is twisted round and round and round like a tree wrung out. Not only is it twisted, but it's peeled down as it's been twisted, and it's right in front of the cave, and it's so fresh white. It's blinding white in this dark tree, and every single tree close around it is perfectly fine. You couldn't miss it. And he's like, do you see that? And I'm like,
yeah,
we just stopped the car in the middle of the road because it.
I know trees. I've done tree work just about all my life.
Yeah, he was a tree. Yeah, he was a lineman.
So I know just. Tree was twisted
overnight.
Didn't just break. They twisted.
It's like they heard what I said inside the house.
It was like a warning to
just stay away from there. And then at the bottom there was a big pond at the bottom of the property, and I saw, me being a hunter, I didn't do anymore, but I saw, like, it almost looked like, okay, if you ever, when you get married, you see like the archway kind of things, and they got, except it was more squared. It went up. It was like the opening of a doorway, and it was all made of vines. It was right at the beginning of the pond. Well, there was deer around when we moved in. Shortly after, there was no sign of any deer anymore. There was big bucks. We saw 2 of them. And right after that, there was no sign of any deer. All the animals, boom, they're gone. Because the Bigfoots, I don't know, they just like, she's here. And they all just like, let's follow her here. And I saw, it looked like a blind where they'd stand right there at the edge of the pond and wait for the deer and snatch the deer out as they'd go to get a drink of water. That wasn't man-made. You couldn't even get down there. There was so much poison ivy and poison oak, and that was just a bizarre thing. And I took a picture of that, and as we were, talking about moving, I just felt like we were not wanted there, and if we did not leave, we were in danger. We were in danger. We had to leave. And they jumped on the roof. They climbed across the roof, the back building. They slid down the roof. That back detached 5-car garage that it was a metal roof. They slid down it so much. It was just painted right up before we moved in and put there because the people were going to have a body shop, and all the paint within like couple months after moving there was almost completely worn off, nothing. And then I'm like, stripped it right off. And
you can see where their nails dug in to try to find
nails, greasy handprints.
The handprints behind my bedroom window, unmistakable. You go outside and you look, because I mean, most people know they have very greasy hands. So, we look up and it's probably 12 feet.
Yeah, at least
13
It's
feet
like
high.
a little long rectangle skinny window over the bed.
Above and below that were all kinds of prints, like greasy handprints.
On my side only,
on Carey's side of the window, where you see they were trying to look in and listen in and doing whatever they, whatever.
Yeah.
Cryptids.
And before we saw the handprints, I felt that they were peeking in. So I put curtains up, and I still felt like they were peeking in through the cracks of the curtains. So I didn't have anything. So I got rolls of toilet paper sitting up there to hold the curtains from moving. I mean, how attractive is that? Makes me so paranoid because I knew they were looking in, and lo and behold, there's so many handprints and fingerprints. I got like really good pictures of. We couldn't even count all the handprints there were. And I'm like, well, is there any on your side? He's like, no. I'm like, come on, there's at least one. No, there wasn't one handprint on his side. We had to get out of there. And right before we left there, I felt that if we didn't get out of there, I knew I would have bet my life on. I knew if we didn't get out of there, something was going to happen to one of us. And I sold the house to a couple, elderly couple and their daughter from Washington State. And I told her, I was straight up there. I did tell her, I said, I want you to know there's Bigfoot on this property. Well, she bought it. She didn't. But I felt that I had to be honest. And I told her this. And she's like, well, we're from Washington State, so we're used to that kind of thing. It's okay. They don't hurt you if you don't. I'm like, okay, just letting you know. I told her. So we sell the house. 6 days after we sell the house, 6 days, I get this frantic call, and I missed the call because I was at an appointment, and I hear my voicemail, and it's the lady, and she's frantic. I can't even understand what she's saying. Something about her husband died. He was incoherent, babbling something, and I'm like, what?
Wow.
So I call her back, and she's hysterical, and she says, Carey, you're not going to believe this. He's dead. I'm like, who's dead? And what was the guy's name? I think his name was David too. Yeah. And she said, now her husband had been sick, but we talked to him. We met him. He wasn't on death's door.
It didn't look like he was going to die 6 days after we left.
No, definitely not at all. And she said, David went outside and he was sitting on the back deck, and he said something about seeing something, and he was babbling incoherently, and I couldn't make out what he was saying. So I took him to the hospital, and she's like, the next thing I know is the hospital puts him in an induced coma, and she said, then he dies. And she's like, and I never got to hear what he was saying, what he saw.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's a trip and a half.
And I just couldn't believe that. But I knew that if we did not get out of that house, that it was going to be one of us. I knew it. And I said, I don't care what we sell this house for. I'm telling you right now, we need to go. We need to go now. and we bought a house in Upper Indiana.
How long were you guys at that house before you guys
10
moved?
months. 10 months. We stopped unpacking month and a half after being there. We didn't even unpack everything. We unpacked the bare minimum.
You can like feel, I mean, I can and Carey can as well, like if it's meant to be. Sometimes it's hard to tell at first, but once you live there, you can feel if it's meant to be or not meant to be. You know, you can feel the spirit of the house, and it just didn't feel right for either one of us, you know. Of course,
or our animals,
and all the things going on, and it was, you know, it was just a bad situation.
Yeah.
Well, what's he's ready to tell you about Northern Indiana?
The thing going by the truck.
Yeah. We had just gone shopping.
Right after we moved in.
Carey was on the phone. I think, I don't know.
Finishing a text to my daughter. It was like 8 o'clock at night. Dark. It was dark.
And she was sitting there. I was bringing in the groceries, and she was sitting there, and something told me to go.
Wait a minute. This is a house out in the country again. There's no neighbors around.
Wolcott, Indiana.
All you see is cornfields as far as you can see. Nothing around.
Yeah. So I go to the doors open. I go up, get ready to go down the steps, and I smell the smell. Unmistakable, you know, pee, garbage,
ammonia,
dead animal, ammonia. I mean, you name it, it smelled like it. I said, you need to get in the house, like right now. And she's like froze.
Yeah.
And then like, please come get me.
I wouldn't even get out of the car.
She
just like he knew that something had happened 1 second
like,
before that.
I knew she had to get in the house. Like it was just like this feeling inside me. You know, it was like you need to get her in the house. Because she was just sitting out there like in a state.
When I'm sitting in the car, I just finished my text, and I'm sitting forward, and there's a big pole barn that I'm facing, and the house is an old giant like country farmhouse off the side, and I'm looking forward, and out of my side vision, I see a black creature running past me at such a high rate of speed. Its knees are going, they look like a tire, like they're going in the same motion up and down together, almost one consistent fluid motion. And I see it go past me so unbelievably quick. Like I say, they have, when people say they move so fast, it's like something out of the cartoon, like Roadrunner. Like they could clear, if you were looking straight or you were turning your head talking to somebody, they could clear a football field before a few seconds, a whole football field before you were able to turn your head back and look. They could be past you and you wouldn't see them. This thing cleared past me so quick, and I saw it, and then I felt, and as soon as it passed me, I felt like I was in like something was getting ready to take me, like I was getting ready to be grabbed. I felt it, and I wasn't getting out of the car. I was getting ready to start laying on the horn, and the second my hand was getting ready to hit the horn, he flings the door open, and I open my truck door all the way, and as soon as I do, that smell hits me, and I've never smelled anything that's gagged me. Like I was literally in the point of throwing up. It's almost like if someone breaks an ammonia capsule under your nose. I've had that pleasure that happening once before, and it burns my nasal passages. It was making me gag. I was like having to spit because my mouth was making so much water, like I couldn't breathe.
I didn't see so
it. Bad.
She's seen it. She's seen it, but I all I did is smell it. And it, you know, I knew at that point of my life that it was something cryptid, and I felt the negativity in the air. I don't think there was a Bigfoot.
I don't think it was a Bigfoot
personally,
either.
I think it was a dog man or something.
That's what I think too.
Something else. Who knows what's out there? But
within 5 months of moving in that house, they wore down the shingles completely off the roof, making a path to my bedroom window. It was a 2-layer roof, and within 5 months, the roof cost almost $19,000. And they wore the shingles all the way off down the paper, and they kept tapping on my bedroom window at night.
You could switch sides of the bed
because it didn't matter. And I said, you know what? Screw this. I'm sick of this. I'm opening this curtain. I'm going to open this curtain. I'm doing it. I'm just going to go for it one night. And he's like, I wouldn't do that. I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm tired of this. I'm sick of them harassing me. So I did it, and I don't know why I was thinking nothing would be there, because so something was there. So I ripped the curtain open, same time, about 3:30, 3 a.m., ripped the curtain open, and it was then there's no moon that night. So its body was blacker than black. I didn't see any body, but I saw these two golf ball size, like they were a perfect mix between a bright yellow and lime color.
Yeah.
And they were glowing, and they were self-illuminating, glowing. There was no light reflecting on them, making them glow. Our bedroom, we had a little tiny night light in the bathroom. There was no light on in the bedroom. I didn't turn the light on when I opened the curtain. And those eyes, when I saw it, they were going like up and that back down, like a wave. If you can picture a wave, like up and back down, looking at me. And they were right there. I mean, right in my face. I literally thought I was going to have a heart attack. My chest started hurting. I was so scared. I ripped so quickly and turned that curtain so fast and jerked so hard. I tore the meniscus in my knee and fell on the ground. That's how scared I was.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe. I'm like, you're so stupid. Why would you think nothing would be there? Of course something's there. You've seen them. You know they're there. So it did not. There was so much activity.
Yeah, the funny thing is, we'd hear banging there too. We had a big propane tank at that house.
Oh yeah, tell them this what they did to our tank.
So I'm about to. And we heard this banging, and I'd go around the yard and see what could they be banging on. So I happened to walk by the propane tank, and the line going down, into the ground and going to the house.
Yeah, our house was
the main
from
line.
propane.
You can see where something banged so hard that it actually dented the pipe that brings
the gas into the house.
So we had to call the gas company, and we had
to
to
shut everything down.
That, something or some.
Yeah, they're trying to blame us. I'm like, why would we
had dented this
pipe? Yeah.
And it was slowing the flow. It almost broke it. I don't know how it didn't. I don't know what would happen. It could have blew up or something.
Yeah, they were trying to say, why would you guys bend the pipe? You could blow your house up. We're like, we're not. We trust me.
The pipe was crushed where something was banging.
It was kinked and like almost flattened.
And she'd hear it a lot. Usually when she went into the bathroom, because the bathroom was right here, and we were on the second floor at this point. When you look down, the propane tank was just about out that bathroom window. So when she went to go to the bathroom, she'd hear this tapping because they were always infatuated with her and where she was and what she was doing. So that's when the banging would start, when she would go into the bathroom or the bedroom, with the window and by the bedroom.
And the dog, my Rottweiler, his dog bed. This dog, he's out there raising holy. You know what? Now
I have to go. I'm happy that you got this platform. It's good for people that are able to tell their stories for sure. And, good luck with future shows. And, maybe we can come back and, when I have more time and talk about some more happenings.
Oh,
Appreciate you guys.
100%. David, thank you, man, for coming on. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, man. Good luck.
My dog, he would not sleep next to the window. Where in this house, he's got a dog bed. You can hear him out there now raising Cain. This dog, like I shower. He lays at the shower because, he thinks squirrels are going to come in and get me or something. I don't know. He's like, infatuated. He's got a problem with squirrels. But he never leaves my side, and he would not lay in his dog bed near this window. He would not. And then he'd sit there by the bathroom and cry and do this whining, like, because he wanted to come over there, but he would not come over there. Would not. So we were in that house about a year. The first night we moved in, our stuff was in storage, and we were waiting for the movers to come and load it up on the truck, the U-Haul Penske truck, and unload it for us. And the first night we're laying there on air mattress, and the window is about like head level, like right over my head on the floor. The windows are almost floor level, the bottom of the window. So I hear something walking in the rocks. And it first sounds like it's on 4 feet, and then it sounds like it's on 2 feet. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a deer. But then I hear something sniffing me at the window, like Clifford the Big Red Dog sniffing me. And I'm like, sniff like this is, I still am like, every time I think it can't get any more bizarre, it gets more bizarre. So I hear something sniffing me. And this happened 2 nights in a row till we got our stuff. Well, I moved all the way to the other side of the window, the room, and there was a window there, and then it did it there. And it was about the same time, 2:30, 3:30 a.m. And then they would jump on the roof. It was almost like they would levitate. I don't know if they would or not, but it was almost like I could see them levitating in the air. They'd take a running start, or they would just pop out of like a portal as they're running. Boom, 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 land on the roof in a full run, and run across the roof. And I didn't tell my daughter this. My 25-year-old daughter moved in with us for 3 or 4 months, and she came downstairs and she's like, "Mom, I know you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but I heard something sniffing me the other night at the window." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I played it off. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "Well, it's probably the TV." She's like, "No, I was downstairs sitting on the couch by the living room windows, the same windows that I heard it at." And she said, "I was texting. The TV was not on." And she was very like, the TV was not on. And something was outside that window sniffing me. Now, she was born with the ability, unfortunately, to see demons. She'd been able to do this since she was 2 years old. And she said, I said, "What did it feel like?" And she's like, "Something very wild, unnatural that did not belong here." And she said, "Also, I can hear them jumping on the roof at night." And we did not tell her this information. And she's like, I hate to break it to you guys, but I cannot wait to get out of this place. She would not, she like wouldn't open her curtains. Like, and she was like, when I heard them sniffing me downstairs, she's like, "I realized that this old farmhouse has 22 windows and you guys don't have curtains." She's like, "So I'm ducking and dodging and crawling." And she's like, "I feel like I'm in like some military training camp trying to get away from all the trying to get away from all the windows." And she's like, "Everywhere I look, there's a window." And I'm like, "Crap, crap, crap." She's like, "I just wanted to hide under the bed." She's like, she's like, "This crap is not normal." She's like, "What is happening to you guys right now?" I'm like, "That's a really good question." So I'm like, "Yep, we're out." I said, "We're going to try this one last time." I said, "We like living in the country. You know, we like having big dogs. We like having sometimes, chickens and stuff. We're going to try a neighborhood. If they're going to come everywhere else, they don't like people. We're going to try a neighborhood." They definitely won't come to a neighborhood. First night that we moved back to Indiana, in the middle of Indiana now, in a neighborhood, the first night they hit the house with 2 giant mud balls. The front of the house is a wood house. In between and we know it was mud balls because the next day we checked and it's 2 big splat marks. It's a tri-level. And I sleep, well, we sleep downstairs in the basement. It's a finished, like, I don't really call it basement, like tri-level. So the lower parts, I guess, would be considered like a basement. It's finished. And that's, they hit the house and I'm like, this, oh my gosh, this is not, again, 4 houses in 3.5 years. I mean, it became a game to them, like hide and seek, like, where's she going to go now? Where's she going to go now? And I mean, it wiped out our bank account. It wiped out all of our savings. I mean, moving truck, gas, hiring movers, unloaders. I mean, that's a lot of money. And it wiped out our whole entire savings account. And the second night after we got our stuff here in Indiana, they'll lightly tap on the window and let me know that they're there. And I know they're there anyway, because I can feel their energy. It's almost like that spidey senses tingling. Like David can't feel that. So he said, "What does it feel like?" And I said, "Well, close your eyes and imagine that your back is turned. And close your eyes. Now, if I crept up on you and I did not make one sound, would you know I was there?" He's like, "Probably yes." I said, "Though that's what it feels like with them, but a whole lot stronger energy." So since I knew that they could already talk to me in my head, when they were tapping on the window here in Indiana, I said, "Why are you here? Why did you follow me?" I said that in my head to them here. And they said, told me his name. He said, and I had him spell it. And he spelled it HALAM. And I looked it up and it said it was in Hebrew, told me his name was in Hebrew, and said it meant to smite, to smite, to bring down. And it told me that it was protecting me from the wolves. And I laughed, and I'm like, there's no wolves here. We're like in the middle of Indiana. We're in the neighborhood. There's no wolves here. And the next day, I walked my dog to the cul-de-sac at the end of our road, and I got pictures of this too. I got them on my phone, so I don't know what they look like in a camera. It's still blown up. I mean, still packed up. But I got pictures of this. I'm walking my dog the very next night to the end of our road. It's gravel road, dead end, like a little roundabout, graveled out, like a little gravel roundaway. It backs up the very thick woods in the Wabash River. And I like walking down there at not dark, but evening. My dog is not very dog friendly, and everybody in this neighborhood has dogs. So it's cooler, it's quieter. I'm walking in, and he starts growling. And all of a sudden, and it's fall, this is in October, end of October, this past October, and I can see all this waist-high hay moving. It's very sparse. I can see it moving around me, and I feel myself being surrounded. And I keep my phone in my hand. I have this pepper ball, like things, like really high powered pistol that will shoot ceramic balls and pepper balls. I carry that on me, and I got my phone on me. I got this like whistle pull thing. I mean, it's ridiculous to take a walk like that, but I have to because they follow me. So my dog starts growling, and the leash tightens up, and he puffs all out. And I know something's there because I can feel myself being surrounded. So I'm looking. I can't see anything with the human eye. So I start taking pictures. And I didn't see this till later on. All these dog or wolf heads or dog heads in the picture. The big, giant, like teddy bear looking brown and white, like German Shepherd colors one is in the background. And he's like way bigger than the other ones. I think I sent you the picture. The one it's black and it's got like white eyeballs. And there's a bunch of smaller ones all scattered through like this hay. And they are surrounding me. It shows up on my phone pictures, but I can't see it with my human eye. So I'm like, okay, we're not going to run, but it's time to leave. And right before I get ready to leave, this bright orange light in the back of the wood, just got to be 10 feet off the ground, appears. And I'm like, okay, I see you. And then all of a sudden, all these millions of little orbs start shooting out of the ground. Now, I thought what everybody else thinks, that they're bugs. Some of them you can clearly see the wings flapping, their bugs. Some of them, they are light blue and white orbs. And I almost felt like the lady that sticks her arms out and has the million bees like cover her body. They were swirling all around my legs and covering my arms and my whole body. These orbs were. It started a few, and then they started coming more and more by the thousands, and they were just covering me. And all this is happening at the same time. This big orange, like if you're carrying an orange lantern, round light is glowing in the back tree line, maybe 50, 60 feet, if that, back behind where these wolf heads are. And I don't think that that's a dog man. I think it's that Bigfoot creature that said it was protecting me. And I'm like, okay, is that somebody back? There's no houses back there. There's nobody back there. Shouldn't be any kind of light. The river's back there, the Wabash River. And then I'm like, is that you guys? And I was talking to the Bigfoot. They know who I was talking to. So the light gets really, really, really big, and then it goes down to the normal size of an orb. And then it gets really, really big. I'm like, okay, so it is. And I'm like, okay, that's got to be the sun going down. Okay, that's a reflection off a leaf. Okay, that's this, that's that. And then it starts moving, kind of moving through the trees and following me as I'm exiting out of there. And I'm like, okay, I can't debunk that light. And I know not to run, but I know it's time to go. So I start walking down the gravel road, getting away. And I can see my house from where this is happening. Then all of a sudden, there's about 3 acres of really beautiful grass, and the trees are in the back. There's no trees in this field. And all of a sudden, these 2 giant deer come busting out of the wood line, and they're running right at me, and they're looking at me, and they're looking back and looking at me. And I'm like, holy crap. I was getting like, I wanted somewhere to hide, because I literally thought and I know deer can hurt you if they wanted to, they're gonna run me over. Like, I have no cover. There's nowhere for me to go. And my dog is like frozen, like he doesn't know whether to look behind us or in front of us, or he's looking all over like, I don't even know where to do right now. So I'm looking at these deer like, what the heck? Like, what is chasing them? Like, why are they, what's going on? And before the deer had any chance to do anything else, this creature, about 7 feet tall, it was not as tall as a Bigfoot. It was solid black shadow, long, like skinny little spindly arms, and it's got legs just like a dog, except they're backwards and standing up, but it's a solid black shadow, and it has pointy ears right before it starts to go down not on the sides of its head, but right to where the head would turn. Short pointy ears staying straight up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not happening right now. I still have my phone in my hand from taking the pictures of these, I guess what the Bigfoot call wolves. So the deer, I look at the deer and they just boom, fall right over on their sides, both of them. And their legs are frozen. They're sticking straight out. And I can see their sides are like they're hyperventilating. They're going up and down so fast. And they just dropped on their sides. And I'm like, and then I look back at this thing, and the distance between the deer and this creature, 20 feet maybe, and in a straight line, right out of the wood line. Right out of the wood line.
Yeah.
Into the field. So then all of a sudden, it almost looks like an Arizona dust ball appears about halfway off the ground, in the middle of the air, and this creature leans forwards with its arms and little spindly little fingers, and I couldn't really see fingernails because I was maybe 50, 60 feet back, but there was no trees, anything. I was looking right at this thing, and it was looking right at me. This dust ball thingy appears, and it's probably it's about as big as maybe 3 basketballs round. And it's swirling round and round and round in front of it, and it leans forward and grabs its arms around it, and it locks its hands around it and starts trying to pull it into its chest. Well, when it starts trying to pull it into its chest, I can start to see clearer features and colors, like German Shepherd colors, and I can start to see that it is a dog, but like a person dog. And I'm like, what the heck? And I'm like, I'm looking at this thing and just trying to aim my phone at it without I'm not going to be staring at my phone when this thing's in front of me, and trying to face my phone towards it. And my phone is having trouble focusing because it's focusing on this swirly thing. Well, if there's any movement, your phone isn't going to focus perfectly, but you can still see it good enough to know get the detail of the ears and stuff and the arms. So it tries to pull it in its chest. The more it tries to pull it in its chest, the more I'm able to see features. And then all of a sudden this ball thing pulls away really hard. And then it's a solid black shadow again. And then it pulls back in and I can see features. It pulls back out. This went on like 3 or 4 times. And finally I'm like, okay, I got enough pictures. We need to roll. This time I'm out. This is enough for me. I'm out of here. And I just started walking away. I didn't look back. I kind of peeked over my shoulder, and I just grabbed my dog and just was like yanking him with all my might to get him to go, because he was frozen in place. He wasn't growling. He wasn't doing anything. I think his mind was spinning too, like mine. And we just got the heck out of there. And I got home and looked at all these pictures, and I'm like, okay, I see dog heads. I see a big one in the background. I see this orb thing back there. I see all these things swirling. When these things are swirling around me, I actually was able to get a video of when all these little orbs are like covering my whole body, are coming out of the ground. They're just appearing out of it. It's almost like they're protecting me. And I actually have like a video of that, and I tried to send it to you, but it said the video clip was too big. So
I have to email it.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. It'll let me email it to you. It won't let me send it through Messenger. But I was able to get a video of that and this light. I went down there one other time, and this light appeared as well. But I guess that's what they were talking about. And the last time that this thing came to the window downstairs and talked to me, that I've tried to talk to it. Usually when I feel them, I'm just like, in Jesus' name, go away. Name of Jesus, go away. Last time I tried to talk to it, and it came, I'm like, look, where are you coming from? Like, why are you coming besides the wolves? Like, how are you here? And they said, CERN. And I said, you mean discern? Like discernment? And it said, no, CERN. Very, like, just wanted me exact. And there was no mistake what it was saying. I had never heard that word before because, I'm a stay-at-home mom, grandma, wife. Like I don't hunt. I don't really do all this stuff anymore. I'm just like happy being home, cooking and baking and whatever, walking my dog. So I haven't heard of this. I didn't know what that was. So I looked it up. And when I looked it up, I was like, oh wow, now I get where you're but that's what they told me they had come from, CERN.
Yeah.
So that was the last time that I talked to them.
Yeah, there's also another one too. It's over here in Tennessee as well. You know that one, right?
The Oak Ridge?
Oak Ridge Labs. Yes.
Yep, the one in when we were in Tennessee, right, I don't know, somewhere in the middle of all the stuff happening, right after I'd seen the first one. Oh, I know, I was on my way to going to a doctor appointment, and because I was having heart problems.
Yeah.
I was perfectly healthy. I didn't have any heart problems, and I didn't have headaches. Let me back up. Every single day we were in Kentucky, David suffered, and I suffered from the worst migraines and headaches ever.
Yeah.
Every single day, and most of the time, at least every other day, he was also having to take nausea medicine because we were both nauseous all the time for absolutely no reason. And when I was leaving Tennessee to go to the doctor, you drive down this long road out of our neighborhood. If you make a left, you go over a bridge, and there's these giant boulders, like, I mean, the size of the hood of my SUV boulders. And they go down, I guess they're for like flood protection. They go down the side of the bridge to the river. And then the other side goes into town, a long road, skinny little wine country road. And both sides are slate rock. And way up on top is a ridge. Well, I'm going into my road. I stop. There's a stop sign. My dog, of course, he's with me. He's my service dog. He starts growling. And I'm like, what is it, buddy? And he's looking out the passenger window growling. So I stop. I got to stop anyway. I look over and I see deer legs. And I'm like, what? So I'm looking, and you can tell they're snapped off because you can see one part of the bone is up higher than the other. The other is lower, and you can see where it is snapped off at the knees too. And if you've ever been a hunter, you don't snap or take you don't do that, the knees. That's just not where you do it, up near the shoulder. So I'm like, okay, maybe it got hit. So I'm looking in the front of the road, no blood. Maybe it got hit and it got drug over here. There's no body. And then all of a sudden the dog starts growling, and I look up on the ridge line, and I see and I hear at the same time. I'm up here, and I look up, and there's a Bigfoot standing there. Well, the sun was coming up in the morning. It was like 8 o'clock. So the sun was at its back. And it was kind of standing there like a military, had its chest kind of bowed out, its arms at its side. And I could see hair hanging down. I would say 3 to 4 inches, just like flowy, beautiful, shiny. Oh, let me back up. The one I saw in Tennessee, when I was hitting it with the light, it was like a woody mahogany, dark brown, not red, not. It was like a very dark, woody brown. And the one I saw that said, "I'm here in Tennessee, look up." I don't know if it was the same one or not. I don't think that it was. It felt like it was a male. It said, when I really was looking at the deer legs and my dog was growling, looking up at the ridge line about 20 feet in there, I looked up, saw it, and I did not have my phone ready. My phone was sitting down in my front pocket, and I looked up and I could see the hair. It was more of not orangutan, but like auburn reddish color, but not orangey. And it was about 4 inches long, flowy, very muscular build. Hard to tell how tall it was. I would say at least 8 feet. It was jacked. I mean, it was at least 4 feet wide, shoulders, pretty much the same description that of an average shot, what everybody else says. I couldn't get a lot of detail because the sun was at its back, and all I could see is the hair hanging down because it was coming through underneath of the arms. But I could see hands. It was not a person. Nobody would even be up there. There is a graveyard right up at that ridge line right behind where this creature was, up behind the house in Tennessee. You walk up to the top of one of the first little mountain or hill. There is a cemetery back there, because I used to walk up back there before all this was going on. And then I looked down to get my phone and to take a picture and look back up, and it was gone that quick. But I went to the doctor, and the doctor said that I had a very significant, concerning heart murmur. And then he's like, I don't know how this happened. You've been seeing me for months, and I got your records from the other doctors, and heart murmurs just don't appear overnight. This is not, when did this happen? I'm like, when did what happen? He's like, your heart. I'm like, whoa, what do you mean my heart? Like, do I have one? Yes, I have one. I'm like, I got one. And he was like, no, that's not a joke. He's like, I'm being serious. He's like, you have a very concerning, significant heart murmur. And I'm like, what? So the only thing I could think of is that this happened right after that scream. So that scream affected me a lot. Because like I said, it hit me through like a wave. And when that wave went through me, I could feel my organs in my body ripple, like if a bass of a stereo was up too loud. So it messed me up. I hope, I hope it's not like life-threatening me, but yeah, I have to have my heart monitored now on a regular basis because of that.
I got you. Yeah, with that. Yeah, what's crazy about Bigfoot screams or anything like cryptid screams is that they have this thing called like infrasound.
Yep.
I got hit by that before. A lot of people get hit by that.
Did it freeze you too, like it did me?
Predators, basically lions, bears, cougars, all that stuff. They have this thing called the infrasound, right?
Okay.
They send it out. So it basically paralyzes the person. It in a daze, gets them sick, creates all these effects medically bad with them before they attack. So that's what hit you, in my opinion, because I got hit by that too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so
that makes sense too.
Yeah. So with different people like me or you or your husband David or whatever, or anybody, it affects each person different. And like one of my good friends Taylor, who I took on a Bigfoot trip with, he got hit by infrasound. He was throwing up, and he felt like he was passed out. Yeah, and then when I got hit with infrasound, I literally, like, my whole body locked up.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah, I almost passed out, and like the insides of my stomach, like my guts and everything, felt like I was leaning up against a big subwoofer or amp at like a Metallica concert.
Yeah,
and it just
that's
shook.
what it felt. Yes, that's exactly what it felt like to me too. And even after the scream stopped, they were still kind of jiggling a little bit. Yeah. I didn't get sick. I don't know why or how I didn't get sick, but I don't know. I should have.
Well, like I said, each person is different. But other than that, we got about like 5 minutes left for the time's out. So you guys you basically started from Tennessee to Kentucky to where you guys are at now.
Tennessee to Upper Indiana. Tennessee to Upper Indiana to Kentucky to back to Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're to the point where we're like, there's nothing we can do that works. We've lit up our whole house is lit up all the way around. The neighbors must think we're nuts. Our house is lit up like a freaking football stadium. Our house is the only house on the street that's lit up this big. And about 2 weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, there was a big oily, greasy handprint on the back door. We had these sheer curtains. The back deck's about 10 feet off the ground. We have a gate that locks that you can't really climb over unless you're like really tall. Well, the gate, and there's woods behind our house, but there is neighbors through the woods, and there was this giant oily handprint on the back door. Well, neither one, and we had just put up curtains because I felt like they were looking through the curtain, like actual curtains to close at nighttime.
Yeah. So
I opened the curtains, and there's a big handprint. Didn't match either of ours, and it had like ridges in it, like a fingerprint. So I'm like, is that you? He's like, no, I haven't been out there yet. No, I haven't been out there. We just shut the curtain last night. It wasn't there. And it was almost like on it, like it's trying to peek in the little crack of the curtain. So I'm outside taking pictures of the fingerprint, the handprint on our back door. And as I'm taking picture, I did not know this. I was posting it on Harley's website, and one of the girls on his website said, "Turn around, he's right there." And I didn't even see it. So as I'm taking the picture, the reflection off the back glass captured the Bigfoot, and I know it, and it told me it is the one that's been following me from the beginning of Tennessee. It's in the background watching me take the picture of its handprint, but it didn't know, and I didn't know that the reflection off the glass. So I guess it was like boom, catching a boom, 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 three-way kind of thing.
Yeah.
Off the glass. I caught it, and she's like, and I posted it. She's like, "He's right there. Turn around." And I'm like, "What? Like, right where?" So I go back and I look at my picture. I'm like, "Holy, he is right! Oh my god!" And then I looked again, and I took another picture for reference, and that face isn't there, but you can see the lips, the brow ridge, the heavy brow ridge, the eyes. And I went back there and looked in the ground. There was no leaf. It's a complete big dirt spot where there's poison ivy and leaves and poison oak growing everywhere. And that little spot is cleared out where he can stand back in the woods, edge of the woods, and watch the house perfectly. And that's what they do. They watch all the time. And I don't,
they do.
I don't know why. I didn't want this. I didn't ask for it. I don't look
Yeah.
for it. I want away from it, but I can't. So we just decided we're going to sell and move back to where we like, back to the country, by spring or summer. I mean, if they're going to follow me anywhere we go, why should we live where we're not comfortable? I mean, we're paying the bills. The cryptids aren't. We aren't. So we're gonna move back to where we like, because there's nothing I can do. I mean, if they were going to get me, they would have done it by now.
Yeah. Well, to me, I think it's also, of course, the one in Kentucky was definitely physical, but this one that's following you, I think it's definitely more spiritual. I want to talk to you a little more about that offline.
Okay.
Other than that, we're actually kind of running out of time, but
I appreciate you letting me share.
Oh yeah, 100%. Carey, I'm really glad you and your husband came on. We're gonna have to get him back on to talk more too. So have you? Yeah. So other than this, like you said, like you and your husband are planning on moving again. So we'll definitely be keeping you guys in the prayers and stuff like that. I'm gonna try to get some people too, other than myself, to reach out to you too, just to see what they can
I'd appreciate
do on
that.
helping and
I'd
stuff
appreciate that, because we
So-
almost feel like we're hostages in our own. I mean, no matter where we live, we feel like we're hostages, and we didn't do anything to deserve this. I mean, we're good people. We try to. If I see somebody in need, I give them my last dollar. I don't care if they're a bum on the street. What did they do with that? You never know. I mean, that's not I try to help everybody. So I mean, I just feel like we don't deserve this.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I understand. Not only that, too, as people, we actually have to know like our authority in Christ too. So I'm going to be sending you some stuff that can, that can actually help you out too. And
I would definitely appreciate that.
Yeah. And that's one thing I do too, as a cryptid investigator and cryptid hunter and stuff like that, is that whenever me and the guys go out, we do not ever want to bring anything back to our homes personally.
So I'm sure.
So that's one thing we do is we get like anointing oil. We pray over our house before we leave, and then we pray over each other. And when we go do our business, killing these things or doing what we got to do or doing the research and gathering intel and stuff, when we come back, we pray over each other, and then we pray over our house before we even come in the house and stuff like that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Anyways, but I'm going to send you some stuff, and
hopefully thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. Well, other than that, Carey, man, I appreciate you coming on. I'm finally glad we got this done.
Me too. I'm excited. I just hope that anything we shared helps one person not feel like what they're going through is not validated, even if it's something small. I mean, even if they think it's bizarre, like the bumper on my truck, and they think they're losing their mind. No, they're just when you think it can't get any crazier, it never seems to stop. I mean, there is nothing that's too crazy if it happened to you. And I always tell people, just because it happened to you doesn't mean it's not real. Don't think you're, I thought that I was open-minded, and I wasn't, because it wasn't happening to me. and I'm a lot more. It's changed me a lot as far as what's out there.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And, you know, like all these other people that have certain experiences, you know, like in my opinion, each person has their own separate experience. And I call it like the totality of circumstances. Each person has a different way of viewing things. And also the experiences that they have with cryptids, paranormal, UFOs, whatever, each case is different. It's kind of the same, but each case is different.
Exactly.
So,
Agreed.
But Carey, I appreciate you, girl, coming on
Yeah,
here.
thank you so much.
And other than that, don't go anywhere yet. I'm going to end it,
Yes,
and then
sir.
we'll chat a little bit, and then we'll go from there. But
sounds good.
All right, guys. Well, I'm glad you guys came and hung out and listened. Yeah. So if hopefully Carey and David came out here and learned from them, and like basically like she said too, guys. Every person's case or experience is their own, and you know what? None of them are stupid at all. None of them are worthless. Each person has a story, so share it, guys. Share them, and you know what? We're all in the same boat, so we're all here for each other, and let's just look out for each other. So, like I said, you guys got any stories? You guys got any experiences? You guys want to talk? You guys need any prayer requests? Go ahead and shoot me an email. Cryptidwarfare@gmail.com, or if not, hit me up on Instagram. Hope you guys have a blessed week. Be safe, and if you guys need help, give me a shout. All right, talk to you guys later. We